Hello guys and welcome back to my channel. Today I am doing a full day wear test on the most expensive concealer that I have ever bought, and that is the new Chanel. It's really not that new, honestly. It's been out for a few months, but I was not able to find it anywhere. Finally I found it at our local Chanel boutique, and I really want to do a dedicated video to this, wear it all day and let you guys know what I think about it, because this is $95 and then there's taxes on top of that. So you can just imagine this is over $100 for a concealer. So I'm gonna apply it, wear it, do some comparison, talk about the product, and give you my final thoughts at the end of the day. So if you're interested, of course, continue watching. And if you're new here, welcome. My name is Tanya. I'd love for you to subscribe down below, and let's get started. So this is the Chanel Sublimage corrector, and it comes in 10 different shades, and most of them are sold out. And I've been wanting to get this. I wanted to try it in store because of the color, and I know Chanel returns are just not great, or exchanges. And so I didn't want to waste $100 if I didn't find my perfect shade. The shade I picked up is B30, and this bad boy is $95. How much product do you get in here? You get 10 grams of product, or 0.35 ounces. For example, in my new favorite concealer, this is the YSL, you get 0.08 ounces, very little product. But in the Givenchy, which has, a lot of product, is 0.37 ounces. So these two are similar. Givenchy is just a little bit more, but this is double the price of the Givenchy. Let's look at my Kulfi concealer. This is 0.17 ounces, and again, this is 0.35 ounces, so double the product. Does that justify the price? No, but the Sublimage concealer in the line is more skincare based. So you're definitely getting the skincare benefits. It says here it's a creamy and lightweight. This exceptionally hydrating concealer melts into skin and immediately illuminates the look of the under eye. It gives you here like percentage of how much moisturized your under eyes will be, how much plump, rested appearance. And I'm like, it's a concealer. It better make me look more rested. And then it helps with dark circles. I was hoping they would give me a little bit more information of the ingredients and what makes this so special. But there's not much information here. Let's look at the packaging a little bit, because it's very different than any other concealer that I have. It comes in this glass square packaging. It definitely resembles their Sublimage foundation, which I have tried before, but I don't own it right now. And then that is the product right there. It does have a stopper, or like a cap, but the product comes in there, and I definitely can tell that this is gonna be a hot mess, at least in the beginning. It does have that protective cap in there, but it got stuck in the big cap. So honestly, I'm not even gonna bother taking that out right now. I am going to, maybe I shouldn't use my fingers. They do give you these two products, a spatula that's plastic and very cheap, but they also give you this brush, which honestly, the brushes from Chanel are actually really nice. This is small, but you could definitely use this. I also have this one. This is from, I don't remember, another one, like the Water Fresh tint, I think. And this is nice and dense. So just overall, the brushes are actually helpful. So I will take this little applicator and grab just a little bit of that. Put it here. I'm going to swatch it for you. What a waste. That's like $10 down the drain. This is the color B30, and I think the color will work really, really well. The foundation that I have right now on is my Chantecaille foundation. Very little of it, because I really wanted to see how this looks on. So I'm going to take just a little bit of the product, put a couple dots there. I guess I should put here too. I don't want to waste the product. And put it all over wherever I naturally would have put concealer on. I definitely know I won't like this application. Just in general, I don't like potted products like this for skin. Taking the brush and see how this works. I did try this in store and it looked beautiful. I'm gonna work this. Maybe I shouldn't have done my lipstick before. Let me take my finger. So I was really debating between 20, 30, 40, but I think 30 will be beautiful because it is not too dark, but not super brightening. And I don't love a concealer that is that much lighter than my skin. I like it maybe half a shade lighter. Okay, this brush, it actually works pretty well. Even though it's small, it works well. Let's do this. Oh, I should have done one eye with and one eye without. So when I tried this in store, they actually mixed with their Sublimage eye cream and a little bit of the concealer, and it gave me so much more radiance. It was actually really, really beautiful. But you know, that eye cream is like $350 or something like that. So I'm like, I'll just stick with this for now. This is with and without, except a couple dots. It's definitely brightening. It has better coverage than I expected, and it has a luminosity to it. It's not a flat concealer. Right now it looks really, really beautiful. It blended in super easy, and I actually like this brush. I added very little product. You guys probably saw there is very, very little. It was not a pea size. It was like a fourth of a pea size what I put all over my face. And I think the coverage is pretty good actually. For how little product I put, it's really, really good. I am going to add just a little bit to blend it in here. But let's zoom you in. Here we have just the light layer of the concealer. I think it looks really, really beautiful on the skin. Right now, I would say it's more of a medium coverage. It didn't cover everything, but it's very hydrating and radiant, which I really like. It's probably one of my favorite types of concealers. It blended it super, super easy. And so far, I really like it. I'm gonna add just a little bit more on this side. See if I can build up that color. So I have the Tom Ford Shade and Illuminate Concealer. And that one is also $90, but I still think that this is $95. So it's more expensive than the Tom Ford. I will double check in a little bit. So I am versed with expensive concealers. I'm gonna take my foundation brush and just blend it in. It's so much faster. Oh, definitely added more coverage, don't you guys think? Definitely. So it's not like it's the first time I'm using such an expensive concealer. But the Tom Ford, it's not that I didn't like it. I didn't love the color that I got. It was just a little bit too dark. And it was a little bit maybe too radiant for me. I'm gonna take the foundation brush. I just like this because it's faster, but the little brush actually worked really well. Here is with another small layer, and I'm definitely feeling like it's more of a medium full coverage right now. It covered really, really well. Definitely brightening. So I wanted to give it a few minutes to see how it sets and how it feels on the skin. Right now, the formula feels like light, but not extremely light. It reminds me actually a little bit of the YSL concealer, maybe a little bit fuller coverage, even though the application's different. The way it feels on the skin, it reminds me similar to this one. This is the high coverage one. The finish, it's lighter on the skin than my Coffee. Coffee is a little bit creamier and a little thicker, as yeah, it feels just a little bit thicker, but the Chanel Sublimage is a little bit lighter, and I want to say that it sets down. I'm not sure if I want to powder this. Maybe I'll try not to powder because I really like the beautiful glow that it has, that radiance. It's not too much. It's something that I could, you know, wear throughout the day. But I'm probably going to finish my makeup, come back, and then decide if I do want to powder one side and not the other, just to see how, you know, it lasts throughout the day. I had some friends come over, so I had to take a quick break. So this has stayed on for about 15 minutes and everything still looks the same. It actually, before I tap it, let me zoom you in to show you how it looks like. So you can see right here, I have one crease under my eye where it did get into that line, which is very common. I feel like every single concealer does that. Did it do it on this side? A little bit on this side. That is not a worry for me because I don't think I have one concealer that doesn't do that. As long as it doesn't get under here, like in these fine lines, I'm okay with that. So this is doing really well so far. So I'm definitely relieved that it's doing so well. Also, the color outside, it looks good. I think it's fine. Definitely in the summertime when I'm getting more tan, I'm gonna need a deeper shade or combine it with a deeper shade. But so far, I think B30 is just overall a good shade for me, and it's definitely brightening. All right, let me go finish my makeup. I'm gonna do a light makeup today, and I'll show you the finished look. Finished my makeup for the day, and I will link everything that I used in the description box below. The blush that I wanted to mention is, I think, discontinued, or it was limited edition. It's from the Chanel, the Blush Lumière in Peach Rosé. I really don't think this is available, but what a beautiful blush this is. I absolutely love it. So I just wanted to mention that because I think if you're trying to Google it, or like, I don't even know if I'll be able to link it. Anyway, the rest I'll be able to link. So the skin looks really, really beautiful. The under eye is very clear, very brightening, very smooth, and I have not powder or set my makeup with a setting spray or anything like that. So let's zoom you in. My under eye area looks very clean, slightly radiant and smooth. I like that it covered, but it doesn't look like a ton of makeup under my eyes. I'm very picky with concealers. There's only a handful of concealers that I truly love, and the fact that this gives me good coverage and it doesn't look heavy, it's a huge plus. Huda is the one that does similar, but this has more skin-like finish and almost radiance to it. It reminds me a little bit of the Kulfi, but the Kulfi is a little thicker and I wouldn't say that it looks heavy on the skin at all. I mean, it's my go-to concealer right now, but this just looks a little bit more skin-like. I don't feel the need to set right now. Maybe for the camera or for the purpose of testing this concealer, maybe I should powder. Let's powder one side. I am taking my beloved Makeup Forever HD powder, just taking very little and putting it under this side. Now you have to remember that I have not touched this makeup. I haven't cleaned the concealer and it hasn't creased, and I've had this on for at least maybe 40 minutes because I had to take a break. So I think it's doing really, really well. It's not full coverage, but it's medium to full. So I'm gonna do this side to see how it will set. So there's definitely a lot of blurriness, and I was expecting this. This powder is absolutely fabulous, and my under eye definitely looks more poreless and smooth on this side, but it has more radiance on the side that's not powdered. I'm going to leave it like this. I don't feel the need to put any more powder. Should I put a little bit on the forehead? Maybe. And on the nose. Whatever is left. I It's very little on this. I don't even think there's much there, but I think I'm gonna leave this side just so we can see and compare throughout the day. I'm gonna do check-ins in natural light, and you know, I'll pack this powder with me if I feel the need to touch up. I will gladly touch up this side. But so far, I think both sides look good. I really like the way the concealer looks, and I'm excited for a concealer that's good coverage and very skin-like. So that is everything for right now. I will do check-ins in natural light so that you guys can see how everything is looking, and I'll meet you at the end of the day with my final thoughts. First check-in, it has been probably about 4 hours. I've been out, had lunch, done all the good stuff. I have been wearing glasses too, zooming you in. So you'll see that there's some marks here, you know, where I have my sunglasses, but I feel like that's very common. Also, my lipstick is kind of gone. But this is the side with the powder and then without the powder. And I think the powder side looks a little bit smoother than this one, but they both look really good. But to be expected, whenever you put powder, it's just gonna blur that area a little bit more. However, they both still have like some of that luminosity that I think it's really pretty. Let me move here. There we go. So I think this has lasted really, really well. And so far it's really, really beautiful. I probably should have touched up my lips, but now I will go and record another video. And because of that, I'm probably gonna have to touch up my makeup a little bit. I'm not gonna touch up my concealer. I may just, you know, smooth this out if it's really bad. Maybe change my eye look a little bit, but I'm gonna try to not touch the concealer. But so far it's good. Like, I don't see a difference in the wear time. Let me go outside and see if the light is better. This is outside in natural light, and that's how it's looking like. Everything's looking really nice, really smooth, all good things. Is it worth the money? Probably not. I mean, I know it's not worth the money, but it is Chanel, and we know how that works. You're paying for the name, some ingredients that you don't find in other brands, some skincare benefits, of course. But yeah, this is the first check-in. I'm hoping to do one more and then the final check-in at the end of the day. And that's about it for now. I'll see you guys in a little bit. It is cold outside. How is it almost May? Pretty much May, and it's cold outside. Okay, so I brought my little dandy mirror to check in. This is our last check-in. It is 7:30 at night and the sun's going down, so we need to do the real quick. Okay, so I did end up changing my lipstick, and I actually did not powder my under eye at all. I didn't touch it. Even here in the camera, on the big camera, you couldn't see it. So I just left my under eye the way it was and recorded with it. So this is how we're looking like. Can you guys see? Let's go. So this is powder, not powder. And I actually think they both look really, really good. I'm gonna bring my mirror real quick, but I wanted you guys to see first. That looks really good, right? It's been a very long day. I was gone a lot, and then I recorded, and then I worked. I'm looking slightly glowy, but my under eye is looking really good. I have a lash right here. I definitely think this side that's powdered looks a little smoother and less like glowy, but even this side that's not powder, I still think it's really, really beautiful, and I'm loving it. I really didn't want to love this concealer just because it's so expensive, but it's lasting really well. I'm still gonna keep it on for another probably 4 hours, 3-4 hours. That way we will get a good 12-13 hour wear test, maybe more than that, because I put it this morning. So probably by 9 o'clock, it's going to be 12 hours wear test. So I am going to leave it here, go inside because it's cold, and I'll see you guys tonight. I am in shock that this lipstick is still on. I had dinner, I had snack time. I think it's been more than 8 hours since I had this on. And it's still, like, obviously the color has faded. It's not that bright red, it's more that cool tone red. But wow, I'm just so surprised. Anyway, we're here for the concealer. I have had this on for about 13 hours right now, so that's a nice long day to test out. I've been active, I've been doing things all day. Actually more than 13 hours. Yeah, it's been more than 13 hours. And I'm gonna zoom you in because I'm loving this. So if you guys remember, this side is the one that I powdered and this is the one that I didn't. And I really think it has lasted much better on the side that was powdered. Even though this side is still there, it's still looking really good. Yeah, it's just more glowier. I'm very surprised that this has lasted so well. And it still looks decent. I think the whole face looks quite glowy right now. You can kind of see it on my forehead. But remember, I did not powder this. Do I have red here? I did not powder this makeup whatsoever. The only side I've powdered was right here. And I think the leftover, it was a little bit here on my chin, but there was barely any powder. So that's pretty darn good. The foundation, like I mentioned, is a Chantecaille, an amazing foundation. And the concealer, it looks really, really good. I'm very surprised that both sides lasted or kept the coverage as long as it did. I would expect the powder one to keep more coverage, but looking at both of them, I feel like the coverage is very similar. It definitely has faded some from when I first applied it, but I still think for, 13 plus hours in, it looks really good. I've pulled out a couple concealers here that I've been loving. Obviously the Chanel one that I just tried, and I'm just gonna swatch and feel the texture between all of these because I'm very curious of the texture. So the Chanel is a very light in texture, thin, and it has pretty good coverage. Look at that. That's pretty darn good coverage. I'm gonna try the Huda Beauty next to it. Oh, the color's much more olivey. Okay, so the Huda one is still quite light, very good coverage, but I'm gonna put just a little bit more. It's more matte. So that is the Huda. I think that's 4.3N, yes. That's B30 from Chanel. And these, they kind of remind me of each other, honestly. The Chanel is thinner, has more radiance to it. And the Huda is just a little bit more coverage. The colors are really off. That's surprising. Although the 4.3 is a little dark for me, and I have to combine it with 2.7. I'm going to do the Kulfi right next to it, just so I can feel the texture. You know what? The Kulfi is very similar as well to the Chanel, the feeling. It's a little bit more creamy and not quite as thin. But it also has that glowiness. That's a Kulfi right there. It has that pretty luminosity. This is the most peachy, the Chanel one right there. So I would say the Kulfi is definitely creamier. The Chanel sets down a little bit more skin-like. And then the Huda is the most coverage. Let me try the Givenchy as well. So the Givenchy is more serum-like compared to all of the other ones. And it's also thin, but I don't think it has as much coverage as the Chanel one. I do like the color of the Givenchy. Which one do I have? N250. That's a good color for me. You can see that this is a little bit more brightening and peachy, which I do like under the eyes. So out of these, I would say, I'm trying to look at this sideways. Truly the Chanel, when I look at my skin, it looks almost the most smooth out of all of them. Wow, that's so interesting. It still has a soft sheen to it even after setting down, and it just looks more like skin than the other ones. That is very interesting. Now, I'm looking at such tiny details that when you wear concealer, you probably don't notice all these things, right? I'm being extra picky just because this concealer is so expensive. So I would say if you like the Colfi, if you like the Givenchy, I don't think the Chanel is something out of this world, the best of the best, but it is a really nice concealer. If you like the Huda, I do think you could like the Chanel if you want a little bit more luminosity from your Huda and maybe not quite as much coverage, even though it has pretty good coverage. Chanel is a good option. If I were to pick right now between Huda and Chanel, I would pick the Chanel based on the performance today, just because it's a little bit more skin-like and has a little bit more that luminosity to it. I'm really liking this. Ooh, and I really didn't want to like it. I tried the Chanel Sublimage foundation, and I absolutely love that foundation, but I need a better shade. The B30 is the one I'm gonna eventually get. I keep saying that I'm gonna get, but it's just like $135. That's a lot of money for a foundation. But this concealer, I can see myself actually using it up and getting the money's worth. So for me, this has a huge thumbs up. Again, it's not worth the money. So if you're going in for the best value, I would say Colfi is the best one that you could get for the money. I mean, I'm almost out of mine. I'm scraping the sides and I love it so, so much. But if you're looking for a more luxurious concealer, you don't mind the price tag, it really performs really well. I like this one better than the Tom Ford concealers. I have the Shade Illuminate and the Tom Ford stick concealer. This one right here, and I'm really liking this as well. The only thing with this one, it's giving you more of a medium coverage. That's the only reason that I would pick the Chanel over this one. I'm loving this for every day, but if I'm trying to cover a little bit more, this only gives me medium coverage, and it's very luminous. Absolutely gorgeous. You can wear this alone. I swatched it right there in the center. You can kind of see the glowiness that it has is that one right there. So I am really liking this one, but I think if I were to pick one, I probably would reach for the Chanel for fuller coverage, more like long lasting. But the Tom Ford would be really beautiful if you have really dry under eyes, if you have more mature skin or fine lines under your eyes, and just for an everyday concealer, it's easy to use. I love it. I wanted to try the YSL as well because I've been absolutely loving this concealer. I swatched it right there. Not that you guys can see. Okay, this is even thinner than the Chanel. The YSL is the thinnest out of all of them. And I would say it's a medium coverage. You don't get full coverage out of this one. I've been loving this concealer so much. But again, you don't get a lot of product in here. So for the price, you probably get the same amount of product, if not more. Oh my gosh, you get so little in the YSL one. You get 0.08. I think I mentioned in the beginning of the video. And in the Chanel, you get 0.38. So you'd need like 4 of these to make up for this one. But the formula is a little thinner. I wouldn't say it's quite as brightening as the Chanel. And it's very skin-like. It's more medium coverage though. Those were some good comparison. I have them all swatched here. That's Tom Ford. concealer right there. It's so luminous. It definitely is really beautiful under the eyes. Those are my thoughts on the Chanel Sublimage concealer. I'm loving it. I'm so happy I got it, and I'm liking the color as well. I would love to hear your thoughts down below, and with that being said, I will see you guys in my next video. Bye.